Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing, and welcome to my craft room. This is my after. This is right before I'm going to pull out all of my blue stuff. I've put away Christmas. For some of you, this looks like a before, but my style is that I like to have things out and I like to see things. And as we look around, I don't think anything is going to fall out of a cupboard and hit us. So that's a pretty good measurement for me, if you can open a cupboard and things don't fall out. I'll walk you through some of the areas, and this is a series. So there were videos before this, and I'll try and mention where those were or link to them below or put cards so you can see them. And I'll show you areas that we didn't talk about in other videos. Right here is my sewing machine and die cutting station, and the counter's high enough to work on, and in the drawers I keep the die cutting stuff and bobbins and thread. And this cabinet I have a video on too, and I can link to it. And I keep embellishments and stuff in these little drawers because I love them. The cupboard I don't love. It's a little small. Be sure, and if you're buying furniture, really think about what tubs and storage devices you want to fit in them. Because I think if an iris case doesn't fit in something, if you can't fit 12 by 12 paper in it, I probably don't want it in my craft room. And that's what's wrong with this side over here. But this counter I like to keep fairly clean so that I have room for my sewing machine and die cutting. This is a pile of borrowed. If I put borrowed away, it gets mixed in. And this is some little die cutting scraps I'm working on. So I only have things out that I plan to work on today. Then over here, this is what I did with, I'm a junk journaler. So one thing when you think about your room and how you set it up, your hobbies will change over time. And also, it could change. COVID alone could change it. You're spending more time at home, you're shopping less. I know that's funny because you're shopping online. But think about what you want set up for your room. I like 6x6 paper pads. I do some 12 by 12 scrapbook pages. I do junk journaling, mixed media. So I sort of have sections and areas for that. In this makeover, I was trying to group things together. It didn't always work just because of the size of the storage bins. And that'll be something that I'll think about later. Like this already had junk journaling stuff in it, so I left it there and it's big enough. This is all paper, envelopes, junk mail, cool things that people gave me, calendar bits. It's all paper in this bin. And some of it's up on end, so it's really handy to look at, and some of it's not. It's also things I've made in mixed media projects, gel printing, faces that I painted, whatever. So I could use those in journals. And then down here, this is mixed media also. So it's paints and storage devices. And then I have more paper here. I even save the sandwich bags from the local store when we get subs. This is journaling stuff, and these are things I'm working on right now. I've been like fussy cutting sentiments and different things and putting them in there. Those are mostly for later, not right now. Look, the cupboard of shame, as it's known for in my circles. Nothing falls out of it at this point. This bin is all tissue. I have fabric in the back. I have shelves that are a little awkward to get to, but actually really helpful for stuff that you're storing and you're not using in a project right now. It's gonna take me a long time to use all those books, so I don't need them on the counter and access to them every day. I might grab a book and tear out a page now and then, but sometimes I'll go a month without using the books. Same for my Prismacolors. I keep them down there, but I don't need them every day. So this is like the mixed media cupboard of shame. And usually it gets too full and stuff falls out. Today it's not bad. So here you've got all kinds of mixed media goodness. If you're looking to make junk journals, we can make junk journals in this area for hours. The corner over there is kind of an awkward spot, but I use that to store a giant clipboard, packing boxes, that sort of thing. And the reason that the sewing machine sits here is because the pedal will reach the ground here. That was something that when I was moving stuff around, I had troubles with. So as you're moving things around, don't just think about plugins. If you have a sewing machine, be sure your pedal's gonna reach the ground in your new plan. Okay, this counter is 10 feet long, and in normal times, you don't see it. You don't see it at all. What I've really tried to do in this makeover for my craft room is make it so that I can put things away. There is capacity in the spaces. And that it makes all the difference in the world. I'm gonna say something crazy. You can't buy all the pretty paper, you can't take all the free stuff, and you can't keep it all in your room. You really need to think about what colors do you like, what hobbies do you like. If you save every cereal box that comes into your life because you're gonna make a junk journal cover, it's just not gonna work. What I've done is made it so that I can craft and make messes and actually put things away. I did mixed media all day yesterday, let it dry overnight, and there was space to put it away. Think about that. As you're setting things up, do you have places for projects in process? Do you have places to stash things when you want to switch projects? My room was so full and messy before that I couldn't put away a project and start something new, because if you opened a cupboard, something fell out. Also, really think about when you set up your room, keep things that you use a lot really handy. And I know I've talked about that, but I do that a ton. I use this little corner rounder a ridiculous amount. And this circle punch, I don't know why, but this is my favorite one. So I don't keep it in the bottom drawer with the rest of the punches because it's too hard for me to get down there all the time. So adhesives, paintbrushes, I can never have enough paintbrushes because I put paintbrushes in different colors of paint. I put them in gel medium, I put them in gesso, then I need another one. So keep all of those handy. Every embellishment that you own doesn't need to be that handy. Like right now, all my spring embellishments are put away because I am working on holiday and winter stuff, so I don't need them. Lighting is a problem for me now because as we work our way around, I'm going to show you, I have another counter and I don't have enough lighting to cover it all. So this corner is kind of dark, but keep that in mind. Plugins in my house are pretty precious because it's an older house and there aren't that many. I find that the OT lights work pretty well, or maybe get yourself a real nice big light fixture, whatever, but lighting for sure. I have the glass media mat. I don't use it when I film videos usually because the glare is so bad, but I do love to work on it. I have had some devilish little spills with bottles of ink. I think sometimes I post them on Instagram. I had an India ink problem, which you can't come back from. And I spilled almost a half a bottle of Dilutions navy blue ink. No one is surprised by the color. So the mat is great. If you're gonna do mixed media, get something that will protect your workspace, unless you just like that look. The other problem though is if you spill a bottle of ink on wood, you're gonna have to wait for that to dry because you won't be able to work on it for the rest of the day. I have the big Fiskars cutter here. I love this Fiskars. I have videos about it, but it takes up a lot of room. So it is not for everyone. And I finally just had to, like, this section is devoted to it because you have to have room to move 12 by 12 paper around. So it really, nothing else can sit here. I keep my heat gun up here on the wall so I can grab it and use it for mixed media or embossing. And my inks, I actually put my Distress Oxides and my archivals up here so that they're not in the drawer and I could figure out how many I had. I haven't stamped on the side. What I'll do is I'll take a tiny stamp it on labels, and then stick them to each Distress Oxide. But that's like, I don't know if I'll ever actually do it. That's what I would do, okay? In here, this drawer is super accessible when I sit here. So it has baby wipes, rags. This is where I keep my dirty stamps. I put them right in a little Trident paper box because if I leave them on the counter, I will set a project on it. It is a guaranteed 100%. So I put the dirty stamps right into the box and hopefully I do that and then it works. And then I have inks in here, paper cutter, and stamp platform. I stack them up and usually when I'm doing a project, I just pull them all out. Down here, I have garbage can. I also have a hook right here, so I can hang a bag there if I'm doing a really big project with a lot of trash. And I have a cute little one right here. Then this cupboard, it is handy, but it's hard to get down into. So what I've done here is I'm storing Christmas stuff in here. And I've put Christmas away. I just have like holiday and winter. The red and green has gone in here. And I put them in iris cases and stack them up. And then on the very top shelf in there, I have a giant container of spring embellishments and a whole bunch of 8.5 by 11 cardstock that I picked up on sale. Not stuff I'm gonna use today or tomorrow. And then this box, I do have a little problem where, do you keep empty storage things? Should I recycle it? I don't know. It's perfect for finished cards. I was using it for that. So it is on hold as far as recycle. Okay, this cabinet, I'm pretty happy with how this cabinet turned out. There were many days when I was opening it and things were falling out. I've already talked about the washi and the paper, so I'm gonna skip that, and I'll tell you what I did move. I put all of my art journals up here because if I'm doing mixed media or if I wanna flip through an art journal, that's usually something where I'm just gonna grab it and sit in a comfy chair or work right here. But I'm not gonna be intermittently doing it. Hopefully not while I'm trying to film because it's a little far. Then this is empty containers. Now, these containers I use when I get going, like when I dive into my December daily, I will have half or almost all of these in use. I think when I was making Christmas journals, I probably had almost all of them going. I like small containers. I like things that are 12 inches long so I can put my strips of 12-inch paper in them. I like to sort my embellishments. That's how I work. Otherwise, I just end up with a pile on the counter and all of the cute little embellishments sort of get buried under the layers. Then this is a box of older Happy Mail incoming cards. I just keep them all, and some more empty storage things. These are for projects and stuff. Sometimes I use them, sometimes I don't. Okay, we're not gonna talk about that. This is all my random collections or 12 by 12 paper pads, things that aren't in iris cases. I got them all put together in order, and their little embellishments that may go with them are right here. So I felt like that was a big change because I had that stuff all over. This drawer is my scoreboard, another stamp platform, and my Cricut cutter that I like. And this drawer I don't reach for a lot. Usually my scoreboard, honestly, it comes out and it floats all around the room with me, and then I just put it away at the end of the day. Down there is where I keep, it was all iris cases, and I've started to thin out my old stash. You guys did this. You probably still have it in there. Do you remember those cardstock packs where it had like the whole rainbow and you would buy them because you thought you needed every color? I still had like the orange and the yellow and that weird red that didn't quite work for anything left. So I'm thinning out those paper collections. I also went through one of my boxes. It said solid cardstock on it. And what was really in it was when you bought a 12 by 12 album, sometimes it came with the sheets in the pages and it was cheesy white bad paper and you pulled it out. So if you have boxes of cardstock in your stash or piles of paper, go through them and ask yourself, are they being stored in the right place to actually be used? Because I would never use that white cardstock to die cut with or to make a page on it. I would use it for junk journals. And that is exactly where it ended up. It ended up right here, and I put it next to the tea and coffee dyed paper that I have here because I was thinking I would dye these. They're not great quality. I just want to dye them and then I'll use them in junk journals. So really think about if you're storing stuff in a place that you would remember to use it. Solid cardstock, printed in iris cases, not collections, just loose papers. And I don't buy a lot of that stuff anymore. If it isn't blue, it probably doesn't come home with me as a loose sheet. And then I also put art journaling books and magazines down there because I don't use those a lot. But that shelf thinned up because I had one less box of ancient paper to store. Really trying to use that stuff up. Now let's talk about this new section. This is my new 6-foot counter, and I had to arrange my lighting. This lamp used to be over by the sewing machine, but I had to arrange my lighting because it was too dark to work here. The reason it is covered right now is I'm ready to work on my December daily. And so what I've done is I've sort of made my kit right here on the counter. Instead of just cleaning it off to impress you with how clean it is, I've got it ready to craft, okay? Now, this counter is right next to my chair where I sit and have coffee. And in one of my videos P of Whimsical Endeavors, she commented that I should have like a little box or basket to put my finished cards in, so when I'm working I can see what I got done. And I thought about that, and she's right. And I realized this is a classy one right here. She's gonna like this. These are cards I have ready to mail out. So I don't necessarily want to keep every card that I have completed on the counter, but she's right. If I prep a card and then put it away, I won't get it mailed. So I have a couple of fall cards in here that need to get gone. Maybe I'll look for a cute basket or something and put that right there. But for me, as a butterfly, Clutterbug, check her out. If I put it away, it won't happen. I can literally make you a personalized, beautiful birthday card in your favorite color. And if it doesn't sit on the end of the counter, I will find it a year later. It has happened to more than one of my friends. That's just how I roll. Doesn't mean I don't love you. I'll make you the card, I just won't send it to you. So this section right here is card bases, because I have been making cards here, and this is all winter and maybe a touch of Christmas and blue. So this stuff will go away too. I think if I can craft and have a room that looks this good when I have holiday stuff out, I'm doing pretty well. This stand right here, I am using for my next project sort of lineup. I need to film this, it's done, and this is all winter right here. And then down there, in the very bottom, I don't have anything. That's crazy. And I don't know if I'm gonna work on more quilt pages, but I've put them in order, and that's kind of forcing me to look at the next thing, also to plan for the next thing. And when I see supplies that work for it, I just throw them in there. So I love having that. That's working out really well. If you recall, I went to the Michaels sale and picked up what I refer to as iris cases at the sale. Now, iris cases are called that because they're made by that brand, IRIS. The Michaels ones, not so good. They don't latch as well. I bought a bunch of them, had them in my car forever, and didn't return them. And what I found was I brought them back in when I was doing this reorg, and it was super helpful. Just recently, I have emptied a couple out, so that's pretty impressive, but I'll probably need them to put away my winter stuff and to finish tidying up. So I guess I'm gonna keep them, but given the choice, I wouldn't buy them from Michaels because they don't latch. This is usually what I store cards in that are done, and I can sort them by theme. I have sold or given away a ton lately, so I don't have that many. The only thing I have a good stash of right now is cards that are too thick to mail, and I just put those away in the cupboard because those aren't very useful right now. Over here, what I've done, this is all iris cases exactly as I imagined it. This top one is my specialty paper. So I want it handy because I pull it out and use it all the time. It is mirror, glitter, texture, neutral stuff that goes with everything, and of course a bunch of blue. These other boxes are different projects or a theme. So red, white, and blue, blue happy mail. This one is junk journal. This one's a journal I imagine, pets. So almost all marked and themed, but not that I'm planning to work on next. I'll be using these and the blue happy mail, the specialty, but other than that, they're not really to-do lists right now, where that middle one is. Over on the far right, it's wider to fit these in. And this is, I haven't made any changes here except for the very bottom. This very bottom one, I put the tub that has my 6x6 pads and envelopes because I don't use either one of those very often. And I thought that was a good place for them. Plus, I had a couple of those larger tubs that just didn't fit anywhere else in my room. I think we've been around the room. I hope that answers your questions. And if you've watched the series, then you know that the couch is gone, the tall white cabinet is gone, the dies are all organized. One thing I'm not sure I mentioned in dies and in your stamps, don't be afraid to take them apart and mix them up. If you have a stamp set where you really just like one stamp in it, you have every right to take that stamp out of it and donate the rest. My dies, I don't keep sorted by brand or what they came with. I sort them by sentiment, shape, flowers, you saw it, butterflies. Stamps, I leave in the packages that they came in, the clear stamps, because that's how they come these days and I'm really too lazy to take them apart. But just keep that in mind, rearrange your room in a way that works for you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're taking time for crafting and relaxing. Bye-bye.